And good afternoon and welcome to EQT Park here for this PSAC West late season doubleheader matchup between the California Vulcans and the Rock of Slippery Rock. I'm Gary Smith, joined by my camera operator James Anderson for today's first game of this doubleheader. California and the Rock faced off yesterday in games 1 and 2 of the series up at Jake Critchfield Park on the campus of Slippery Rock, and it was a split. California winning game 1 6-5, and then falling in a 4-hitter in game 2 2-0. Let's take a look at the tell of the tape between the two teams just to kind of see how they match up. And you can see offensively, California, one of the best offenses in D2. Team average of over 340, 909, 494, and then down there you can see 285 runs scored. Rock has a little edge in pitching, 386 ERA to the Vulcans 409. And another note from yesterday's game, starter in game 1, Mike Valente, moves within one game of the single season wins total. You see here he is tied at 9 with Braden Kale, Randy Sturgill, and Rick Christ. And then if you look down at the bottom and see a familiar name if you're a fan of Major League Baseball, Rick Krivda. Played for many years in the major leagues, most notably with the Orioles, and also won an Olympic gold, I believe, in the 2000 Sydney Games. But enough of that. We're set to go here in game number 1 of the day, game number 3 of the weekend. On the mound for the Vulcans is right-handed pitcher Nathan Holmes, 4.89 ERA coming into this game. 4-1, 9 appearances, 8 starts. Leading off for the Rock is the DH, Jimmy Sadler. We're underway. First pitch at 12:58 and misses for a ball. So go Jimmy Sadler, Brandon Butler, and Michael Kitko, the 1-2-3 batters for the Rock. Second pitch, a mighty hack and a miss, evens the count at 1 apiece. Gray afternoon here in Washington, PA. The rain is, we believe, out of the area as here comes the 1-1. Low into the dirt, ball 2. But believe this chilly, cold, damp day will be with us regardless. What wind there is, we believe, is blowing it to left field. No flag out today. There's a pop-up towards the shortstop. And going back on it is Peyton Ford, and that'll be the first out of the ball game. And that'll bring up the second batter, the third baseman for the Rock, Brandon Butler, the sophomore. So the Vulcans yesterday, game 1 got up 6-1, gave up a couple runs in the 7th, and then in game 2, shut out 2-0. So we'd love to see a 1-2-3 innings. The first pitch to Butler is a strike on the outside part of the corner. Here's the 0-1. Right down the middle, so quickly Butler falls behind 0-2 to the Vulcan starter, Nathan Holmes. And Holmes, 46 innings pitched coming into this game. Struck out 38 and walked 13. Foul ball down the right side. And Butler will get another pitch. So go Butler. On deck circle is Michael Kitko, the right fielder, and in the hole is the first baseman, Stone Powell. 0-2 pitch misses low and outside for a ball. Runs the count 2-1-2. Batters have hit .295 against Holmes this season. Just misses on the outside part of the plate, evens the count at 2 apiece. And the dugout is longtime head coach Jeff Messer in his 40th season at the helm of the Rock. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So first strikeout of the game for Holmes. That'll be the second out of the inning. And that will bring up the right fielder, Michael Kitko. And the Vulcan dugout, of course, in this 29th season, head coach Mike Conti. So a lot of experience in the dugouts for both of these teams. First pitch slapped into right field, and that's going to get down for extra bases. So Kitko will have a 2-out double as Salvatore gets the relay throw back quickly. But the first hit of the ball game, first pitch swing, and that'll bring up the cleanup hitter for the Rock, their first baseman, number 30, Stone Powell. Good job of just taking that outside pitch and slapping it into right field. So an early RBI opportunity for the Rock with 2 outs. Pitch missed low for a ball. On deck, should Powell reach, will be Tristan Nemeth. Here's the 1-1. Misses inside for a ball. Count goes to 2-0. So Holmes working from the stretch. First base runner of the game against him. Big power bat in the at bat in the batter's box for the Rock. 3-0 pitch, or 2-0 pitch makes it 3-0. So it definitely looks like Holmes is treating Powell very carefully here. Straight take, runs a count 2-3-1. That's a pitch I think Powell might went back, as that was right there. That was a pure take for the cleanup hitter for the Rock. 3-1, high, ball 4. Second base runner of the inning. And that will bring up the next batter for the Rock, the catcher, number 35, the sophomore, Tristan Nemeth. So Nemeth with 2 men on, 2 outs, top of the first. Just underway here from EQT Park in Washington, PA. Glad you could join us this afternoon. Holmes' first pitch. Off-speed pitch outside, ball 1. So after 2 quick outs, kind of laboring a little bit here to get that third out in the top of the first. Here's the 1-0. At the knees for a called strike. Nice job of Rizzo, the Vulcan backstop, getting that call. Evens the count at 1 apiece. Swung on and fouled away over the netting. Didn't scatter anybody. No one sitting in that area today. But a loud foul ball off the aluminum bleachers here at EQT Park. So 1-2 for Holmes and the Vulcans. Nemeth looked like he flinched at it, but no swing, so evens the count at 2 apiece. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on, top of the first. Misses outside, runs the count to full, and there's going to be some movement on this pitch. So a base hit probably brings in 2 here for the Rock with runners going with full count here with 2 outs. On deck is the second baseman, Clay Wiesen. Payoff pitch, fouled away, and we'll reset. But it'll go Wiesen and then Cam Penko Moore should this inning continue. So Holmes stepping back on the rubber, looking in again, 3-2, 2 outs. 2-1, runners will be going. Payoff pitch for Holmes, swung on, that's going to be another foul ball over our heads, and that will result in a do-it-over situation. So Nemeth working hard here to stay alive, and Holmes working hard trying to put Nemeth away. First batter of the game popped out to short. Second batter struck out, and then a First pitch single and a walk, and that's how we've gotten to this part of the top of the first. Payoff pitch once again now for the Vulcans. Swung on, ground ball to second. Taken, fielded, and thrown out at first. So a couple base runners get on, but nothing come across. So the Vulcans avoid giving up anything in the top of the first. While we have a second, let's take a look at the importance of today's game. Is we are in the later stages of the PSAC schedule. See California atop the PSAC West standings with Slippery Rock second. But you can see it's close. Both California and Seton Hill 6 losses in the loss column. California a couple more wins. Slippery Rock 2 games behind. So a sweep today by the Rock over California could really tighten things up. And then IEP, slow start, rode a 10-game winning streak over the last couple weeks. And then they're back in it at 13-9, and then Gannon at 10-12. So a lot of things to be decided here in the last couple games of the schedule. California will play, scheduled to play Thursday and Friday doubleheaders. Thursday at UPJ, Friday home versus UPJ, and then there's one game left out there if they have to remake or redo the game or make up the game from Lock Haven. The second game of that Lock Haven away series was postponed due to weather, so we'll see if that game will affect the standings. So, as always, you can go to calvulcans.com. Another thing to note, the California Vulcans cracked the top 30 in the NCAA rankings this week. So, hard work for the Vulcans paying off with some national acclaim. Your lineup for the Vulcans looks like this. Leading off, playing right field, James Salvatore. Batting second and DHing, Peyton Conti. Batting third, playing left field, Ryan Callahan. Batting fourth and playing first base, Santino Mara. Batting fifth and playing third base, Nathan Meeks. Batting sixth and playing second base is Caleb Collins. Batting seventh and catching is Kyle Rizzo. Batting eighth and playing short is Peyton Ford. And batting ninth and playing center field is Icon Jones. On the mound today for the Rock of Slippery Rock is senior right-handed pitcher Gage Gillott, coming into this game at a 3-2 record. So his warm-ups are done, and we're ready to get this bottom of the first started with James Salvatore coming into this game, batting .294. Has been on a tear power-wise last couple weeks. 5 home runs, 14 RBIs. Hit one that might still have not landed in Elkins on Wednesday afternoon. So he'll be facing the first pitch from Gillott. Takes it for a strike. So we go Salvatore, Conte, and Callahan here in the bottom of the first inning. 0-1 to Salvatore. Wise take. Misses outside. Evens the count at 1 apiece. Salvatore waits the 1-1. And fouled back over our heads. Runs the count to 1-2. And Salvatore 1-2 as Gillott is working the far edge of the rubber. Swing and a miss. Dropped. Will throw over to first to complete the strikeout, and that'll be the first out in inning number 1. And that'll bring up the DH for today, number 20, Peyton Conti. Coming into this game, batting a robust .397. 6 home runs, 41 RBIs for the Vulcan senior. He's been splitting his time between DH and first base. Got hit a couple weeks ago on the hand. Believe that was the Seton Hill doubleheader here. First pitch, check swing, misses for a ball. So missed a little bit of time, but working his way back in the lineup. I'm actually saying he went on that pitch, so 0-1 is the count. Foul tip, and quickly Conti is behind Gillott, 0-2. Again, expect a pretty well-pitched doubleheader. These two teams are fighting for not only PSAC playoff positioning, as you'll see later, the Vulcans are in regional contention as well for the NCAAs, but it's razor thin in the top 7. Off-speed pitch gets Conti for the second strikeout of the inning, and that'll bring up the number 3 hitter, Ryan Callahan. So Gillott working quickly. First 2 batters of the Vulcans going down by way of the strike. Out. So Callahan will come up, batting .407. Leads the team in home runs and RBIs with 42. So here's the first pitch to Callahan. Swing and a miss. So Gillott dealing on the mound for the Rock here in the bottom of the first inning. 0-2. And Gillott is working quickly as Callahan steps out just to try and slow it down a little bit. So now Gillott slows it down. Here's the 0-2. High, ball 1. So 1-2 to Callahan. On deck is Santino Mara should Callahan extend the inning. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. So 3 strikeouts for the Vulcans in the top of, or the bottom of the first. So we're going to move to the top of the second inning here. You're watching Vulcan Baseball right here on CTV Sports 1, the PSAC Digital Network, 91.9 FM, Power 92, and the CUTV family of cable networks.
Sports fans, we cheer on our favorite teams at fields, gyms, arenas, and stadiums. But have you ever wondered what it's like to be a referee? Verbal abuse from fans, parents, and coaches is the #1 reason why many referees are walking away. And they're not being replaced quickly enough by new ones. So put yourself in the official shoes, act with respect, and be officially human.
And welcome back to EQT Park as we move to the top of the second inning here of this Game 3 and 4 doubleheader between the California Vulcans and the Rock of Slippery Rock. So no runs in the first inning for either team, but 3 straight strikeouts befell the Vulcans, and now the Rock will get back on offense. Leading off will be number 8, Clay Wiesen. So it'll go Wiesen, Penko Morris, and her here in the top half of the second inning. So Wiesen, a junior second baseman for the Rock, will step in against Holmes. Holmes stretching a little bit there before his first pitch. Right on the corner for a strike. So both pitchers in this contest so far are around the strike zone. You'd like to see that. Here's the 0-1. Right on the corner as well. So quickly, Holmes is ahead of Wiesen, 0-2. Again, it goes Wiesen, Penko Morris, and her. The 6th, 7th, and 8th batters in the Rock lineup. Slap towards the second baseman. 2 hops and an out. So quick 1 out here in the top of the second inning, and that'll bring up Cam Penko Morris. So good job of Caleb Collins there at second base, just staying down. A little bit of an in-between hop he had to deal with off this brand new turf at EQT Park. Here's the first pitch. And to Collins, between Collins and Mara, Collins going to get to it, and he is safe. That was going to be a tough play, and as diving Penko Morris will get there. So second hit of the ball game for the Rock. Valiant effort by Collins, but that was going to be tough as ball I don't think was hit anywhere near hard enough for him to get to it. And that'll bring up the number 8 hitter, the left fielder, Robert Herr. So second hit of the ball game for the Rock, both towards right field. Went a little double down the line, and that one a little seeing eye base hit, infield single. First pitch catches the corner for a strike. Now Panko Morris will lead off at first, and he goes. Oh, fakes a go. Goes back. Batter takes a strike, so 0-2's the count. Give him credit for putting on the brakes there because he was at full speed for about 3 steps and then trotted back. Holmes trying to put away third batter of the inning. That's fouled away. And we'll reset at 0-2. So the only two left-handed batters in the lineup for the Rock, her and the leadoff batter of Jimmy Sadler. 0-2. Right back off the pitcher's glove. That's going to be a tough play. Bare hand. Throw to first. 1-4-3. And the putout. Great job of recovery there for Holmes, and that'll be the second out of the inning. Holmes and Collins just staying with it. And that'll bring up the number 9 batter of the Rock's order in shortstop Tyler Cerami. Cerami, a senior, and has a chance to get an RBI here with the runner at second base. Pitch catches the inside part of the plate, strike one. So both Holmes and Gillette working well for their respective teams. Oh, 1. Off-speed breaking ball just gets over the plate. Now 0-2 is the count to Cerami. If he extends inning, the lineup will turn over for the DH Jimmy Sadler. So the 0-2 pitch. Vulcans would love nothing more than to strand that runner at second. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So a strikeout to end the top of the second inning, and the Vulcans will come up to bat. We're going to take a look once again at the tail of the tape, just as we rush through it just a little bit. But as you can see, this is probably going to be a tale of offense versus defense. California, again, offensively leading in most categories, and on the mound, the Rock leading in most categories, notably ERA's about 0.25 lower roughly, and then the whip is slightly lower. Almost 300 strikeouts. Actually, it should be 301 now if my math is correct, after the 3 strikeouts to account for the bottom of the first inning. Coming up for the Vulcans in this inning will be leading off the DH hitter Santino Mora, Nathan Meeks, and Caleb Collins. And on the topic of Santino Mora, coming into this game and this series in the last couple weeks, chasing an all-time hit record for the Vulcans. He's currently at 214. He's 5 behind Troy Hansda. And then after that, it's very close between Peters, Fennell, and DiMatteo. So Mara, every hit gets him closer to rarefied air, and he will be the leadoff batter here in the bottom of the second inning. First pitch, swinging and sending it foul, out of play in the direction of Route 70, and that'll be strike 1. So Mara having a few hits the last couple games. Again, became the 8th Vulcan as that second pitch misses outside for a ball. Became the 8th Vulcan player to collect 200 career hits a few weeks ago. Needs 9 to tie, 10 to overtake. Off-speed pitch chopped foul, out of play. Runs a count 2-1-2. So again, it's Mara, Meeks, and Caleb Collins will be your 3 hitters, and in the hole will be the catcher Kyle Rizzo. So the 1-2 slapped past the pitcher. Going to be a tough play for the second baseman. Scoops and throws it out First out of the inning, so mark that a 4-3. And that will bring up the second batter of the inning, the third baseman, Nathan Meeks. Meeks coming into this game, batting .330. Has started 36 of the 38 games in which he has appeared. 109 at-bats, 4 home runs, 26 RBIs for the Vulcan third baseman. First pitch to Meeks. Belt high, taken for a strike. I have a chance. I'd like to give a shout out to our good friend John Holtz, Slippery Rock Athletics. Sure he's watching this game up at the Rock. Good friend of ours here. The second pitch is off speed and taken for a strike. And also, since I know he's probably watching in the press box at Lilly Field during a rain delay, or a lot of rain fell overnight, is our Director of Athletic Communication, Mr. Matt Kiefer. 0-2 pitch, swung on, tapped towards third, charging, gloving, throwing and getting the out. A little two-hopper, 5-3 put out and be the second out of the inning. And that will bring up the catcher, number 35, Kyle Rizzo. And so, again, a lot of activity going on this weekend around Vulcan Athletics. The women's golf team playing in the PSAC tournament on the eastern side of the state. Softball and Slippery Rock both traveled to Slippery Rock yesterday. Here's the first pitch. Slapped into right field, and that will get down and will be a 2-out. Going to gun for second, and he is going to be out as he was trying to little swim tag there, nothing doing. So Vulcan's first hit will be erased with a 9-7 put out. But on the topic of the women's golf team in the PSACs, we'll take a look at some of the comments that they had going into this weekend's round.
I think the biggest challenge going into PSACs is the fact that it's a 3-day event. We had something similar where we played 5 days in a row in the fall at Erie, but playing 3 days back-to-back, having to have that mental game on is a little bit difficult. For the returning people, it's not as hard as it will be for the freshmen. The main thing about the course is just playing where you know it's going to be, playing it smart, as Kyle would say, always hit the front of the green to putt.
Well, yeah, it's a course that having some course knowledge on it is important. Understanding the greens, dealing with a lot of side hill lies, definitely something that helps have an advantage of playing on it a few times.
There's so many favorites. I'd say my biggest favorite is it being a 3-day event. So you could be playing great and struggle on some holes, but you always have the chance to come back and play well.
They put a lot of work in over the winter time, putting in the reps in the golf facility, and then being able to see those results out on the golf course has been fantastic. The team chemistry has gotten better and better, and I think each of them are playing for each other more than they ever have before.
I'd say all around I definitely improved the game, but I think the most improvement I made is on my mental game. Between having surgery last fall and having to come back in the spring, which is the worst season to come back with an injury, the mental game definitely improved and got a lot stronger from last year.
I'd say playing perspective, I'm most proud of the confidence I've built throughout the years, knowing that I am capable of hitting all the shots that I need to hit to be successful. I know looking back, I was a little timid freshman coming in, uncertain of what I could and can't do, but now I know for a fact that I am capable of performing to the best of my ability.
Goal is to take it one shot at a time. I know it's playing the PSACs against some of the tough teams that we have in our conference, but we have just as much of an opportunity to win as they do if we take it shot by shot and we play our own games.
And welcome back to EQT Park. As we heard some comments there, first batter of the inning, first pitch slapped to first base for a first out. So that was Jimmy Sadler recording the first out. Now at bat, third baseman Brandon Butler. Butler in his second at bat of the game. Check swing right out in front. Going to be a tough play. Gathered up and throw to first. Great job by Holmes getting out there, staying down on it, and getting the second out. So quick 2 outs here to start the top of the third inning. And that will bring up the number 3 hitter, Michael Kitko. So again, just as that interview ended, quick at bat for Sadler and an equally quick at bat for Brandon Butler. So Kitco, the 3-hitter in the lineup, and the inning will face the first pitch, taken for a strike. So both pitchers are dealing strikes here in the early going. Only 3 hits, I believe only 4 base runners, 2 hits for the Rock and a walk. Second pitch inside corner for a strike. Vulcans had Kyle Rizzo double, but then was thrown out, trying to stretch the single into a double. The 0-2 pitch fouled right back at us. And everybody resets. Kitco is right on that as it went straight back. Holmes trying to get out of this inning. 1-2-3. Here's the 0-2. Rizzo unable to buy the call, and that runs the count to 1-2. Kitco right on top of that plate. Rizzo sets up inside. Here's the pitch. Just misses. I thought maybe that was going to be a called strike 3, but might have been just a little low for the ump's liking. So evens the count at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top 3 from EQT Park. So after 2 kick strikes, Kitco has worked Holmes into a full count situation. Should the inning continue, it will be the first baseman, cleanup hitter Stone Powell. And it will be a walk, so second walk issued. And that will bring up the cleanup hitter. And we're going to call it right now Stone Cold Powell. Because if your name's Stone, you're going to get the nickname Cold right after it. But they worked him very, very carefully in the top of the first inning. So 4th base runner of the game for the Rock. Pitch misses outside for a ball. Should Powell extend the inning, will be the catcher Treston Nemeth. 1-0 to Powell. Working him outside and missing outside, 2-0. And Holmes steps off the mound, takes a little walk around to reset. Has generally been around the plate, except for the last 2 batters. Here's the 2-0. Off-speed breaking pitch right over the inside corner for a strike. One of those keyhole pitches that there was nothing Powell could do. Came in right under his hands. 2-1. Catches the corner, evens the count at 2 apiece. So Holmes once again 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning unscathed. Taking a long look at his battery mate, Rizzo. Here's the pitch. Slapped foul into the Rock dugout. Scatters a few of his teammates. I think it might have slammed off the pitch clock that are attached to the dugouts. Don't believe they're inactive. I don't believe they are active today. So probably didn't break it. Here's the 0-2. Slapped once again foul over our shoulders into the stand. So we'll reset. Powell, the freshman, being a tough out here in this game. And his second at bat. Here's the 2-2. Check swing. Nothing doing. Rizzo checking with the umpire in the field. Nothing doing, so it will be a full count. And Kitco will be off to the races from first on this pitch. So a chance to probably bring home a run with a single with that runner going. Payoff pitch. Check swing and tapped foul. Rizzo was out there quick to touch it to wave it dead, so that'll even, or excuse me, it won't even the count. We'll just redo it at 3-2 with the payoff pitch. Again, Nemeth on deck, and then Clay Wiesen is behind him. Should the inning take an unexpectedly bad turn for the Vulcans. Payoff pitch for Holmes. High fly ball into center. Going back is Jones. He has a bead on it right at the track, and will collect it for the third out. So one runner gets on, but nothing comes across as we move into the bottom of the third inning while we have a chance. Let's take a look at some team leaders offensively for these two teams coming into this game. Mara leading the Vulcans in average at .421, and then Callahan in a lot of the power numbers, OPS, hits, home runs, and RBIs. And if you look over to the Rock, you see Butler, Powell, 3 players with 40 hits, so that's a pretty good distribution of hits for that Rock lineup. Panko Morris with 4 home runs, and Kitco with 26 RBI. So the story of the game through 2.5 innings is pitching. Only 3 hits total, 5 base runners. Both pitchers have been dealing. And let's look at those pitching numbers. The pitching leaders for both teams. See Valente. We talked about him earlier, getting his 9th win of the season, moving 1 behind for an all-time California Vulcan single season mark. But Valente leading in all the categories for the Vulcans in ERA, whip, wins, innings pitched, and strikeouts. And then if you look over to the Rock, it's one name, Malik. ERA, whip, wins with 5 innings pitched and 52 strikeouts. So due up for the Vulcans here will be Rizzo, Ford, and Jones. So, excuse me, it was Caleb Collins who tried to stretch a single into a double in the bottom of the second, and not Rizzo, as I previously stated, so I apologize to that. So the Vulcan backstop will get a chance. The sophomore coming into this game batting .231. No home runs, 8 RBIs. So it'll be Rizzo, Ford, and Icon Jones to face Gage Gillette. Third baseman playing up at the bag. First pitch taken outside for a ball. Gillette's second pitch, high and outside for a ball, 2. So Rizzo stepping back in. Tempted, but good take. High for ball 3. So this is the first 3-0 count that Gage Gillette has pitched himself into in this action. Pure take from Rizzo, runs the count to 3-1. As people continue to filter in here at EQT Park, 3-1. Catches the outside corner for a strike, so Gillette working back off of the ropes. Rizzo slaps one to short, fielded and thrown over 6-3. A little bit of a wide throw, but the out is recorded, and that'll bring up the shortstop. Peyton Ford, the freshman, batting .252 on the season. Has started 36 of his 37 games. No home runs, 13 RBIs, primarily coming either the 8th or 9th position in the lineup for Coach Conti this season. See if he can maybe get the offense started here with 1 out. Swing, looked like an off-speed pitch there. And a strike for Gillette, who struck out the side in the top of the first. Here's the 0-1. Ball taken high. Evens the count at 1 apiece. So Ford quickly back in. Gillette slows down just a tad. Another pitch swung on and missed by Ford. Again, looked like maybe Gillette took a little bit off of that. The 1-2 to Ford. Slapped into right for a base hit, so Peyton Ford takes the outside pitch, slaps it into right field, and that will be the second hit for the Vulcans, but the first base runner, and that'll bring up Icon Jones. Jones moving to 9th in the order. Has started a lot of games leading off for the Vulcans, batting .317. Left-handed batter awaits. Pitch low and in the dirt for a ball. And should Jones not ground into some kind of double play here, it'll bring up the top of the order with Salvatore. So the 1-0 pitch, throw back over, keeping Ford close. And the first base runner for the Vulcans, second hit. Throw back over. On the season, Peyton Ford is 5 of 6 stolen base attempts. And with runs at a premium, we'll see if he gets the green light from Coach Conti in the third base coach's box. The 1-0. Low and outside, ball 2. So after a quick first 2 innings, Lott running into a little bit of trouble here for the Rock. Infield at double play depth looks like the outfield might be shifted a little over. Another throw over to first will keep Ford close. The 2-0. Swing and a foul tip. Runs the count to 2-1. Looked like Jones was looking outside, and that pitch cut underneath his hands and fouled it straight down off of the body of Nemeth, the catcher. 2-1 count now. Runner at first. Fouled down the left field line, and that's going to get back into the bleachers and near a puppy dog. And that'll even the count at 2 apiece. The dog was nonplussed and will now walk after the ball. So 2-2, 1 out, runner at first. See if there's anything on here, trying to stay out of a double play. Potentially throw back over to first. So the Rock really worrying about Peyton Ford. This is a quick part of the lineup now with Ford, Jones, and Salvatore. As you go 8-9-1 in the lineup. 2-2 pitch. Slapped into the hole. Another base hit for the Vulcans. So another opposite field base hit. And now 2 on with only 1 out. And that'll flip the lineup over for right fielder James Salvatore. 0 for 1 in this game. Struck out to start the game. So Salvatore, a couple RBIs opportunities out there, has some power from the number 1 spot of the lineup. Slap towards the shortstop. 6-4, that's going to be only 1 out. The fielder's choice, so erase Icon Jones and put Salvatore at first, and that'll bring up Peyton Conti. So good job of Salvatore getting down the line, staying out of the double play. And Peyton Conti homered yesterday at the Rock. So 2 runners on. Base hit will bring home a run. Swung on, high fly ball to center, going back right at the warning track, and that went in the inning. But Vulcans get 2 runners on, nothing doing. And we will move to the top of the 4th. You're watching Vulcans baseball right here on CTV Sports 1, the PSAC Digital Network, the CTV family of cable networks, and 91.9 FM, Power 92.
Sports fans, we cheer on our favorite teams at fields, gyms, arenas, and stadiums. But have you ever wondered what it's like to be a referee? Verbal abuse from fans, parents, and coaches is the number 1 reason why many referees are walking away. And they're not being replaced quickly enough by new ones. So put yourself in the official shoes, act with respect, and be officially human.
And welcome back to EQT Park as we move to the top of the fourth inning of a pitcher's duel here. 2 hits for the Rock, 3 hits for the Vulcans. I believe there's only been one runner at third base, and that was in the form of Peyton Ford in the bottom of the third inning. So we will move to the top of the fourth, and that'll be leading off will be the number 5 hole hitter, Tristan Nemeth. So they'll go 5, 6, 7, Nemeth, Wiesen, and Penko Morris. First pitch for Holmes. Misses outside for a ball. So generally this game, both pitchers have been around the plate. 1-0 pitch makes it 1-1. So definitely a lot better to pitch from in front of the count than behind if you're the pitcher. So 1-1. Breaking ball gets the corner for a strike, and Holmes goes ahead 1-2 to Nemeth. So 3 straight right-handers set to face Holmes. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. So the first out of the inning will be by way of a strikeout. And that will bring up number 8, Clay Wiesen. So Wiesen stepping in against Holmes. Breaking ball breaks too far outside, runs the count 2-1-0. Fastball misses low and outside, runs the count to 2-0. So Wiesen, Penko Morris, and then Holmes will face a left-hander in the form of Robert Herr if he gets up. 2-0 pitch misses outside, runs the count to 3-0. Holmes trying to avoid a 4-pitch walk. And the announcer jinx happened, 4-pitch walk. And that will bring up center fielder Cam Penko Morris. So Penko Morris ended the bottom of the third by way of a put out on a fly ball by Peyton Conti. Runner is chased back to first. So go Morris, Herr, and then Cerami should the inning continue. Pitch misses outside for a ball. So 5 straight balls from the Vulcan right-hander. After recording a leadoff strikeout here in the top of the fourth. Here's the 1-0. Breaking ball high and inside for a ball, 2-0. So Holmes looking down at his glove a little bit in disgust, trying to get back here. 2-0 count. Breaking ball gets the corner for a strike, 2-1. Morris, a senior. Throw back over, chases Wiesen back to the back. Again, with runs at a premium in this game, you probably will see some of these teams, or both of these teams, try and press the action a little bit. Foul tip. And that'll be evening the count at 2 apiece. Wouldn't be surprised to see some small ball at some points in here trying to move runners over because, again, both these pitchers have been dealing thus far. Here's the 2-2. High for ball 3. So full count. Runner at first, and then the left-hander, left fielder Robert Herr is on deck should the inning extend. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Second strikeout of the inning for Holmes. That's a big one after struggling a little bit. So that's the second out of the inning. And that'll bring up Robert Herr. Again, one of only 2 left-handers in this Rock lineup. Wind feels like it might have shifted in our face a little bit. And there's a shot to right field going back, and that's going to go over the head of Salvatore. Off the wall, gets to it quickly. Cut off. The throw will go to the plate, but won't be in time. So an RBI double, and the Rock leads 1-0. That ball was absolutely smoked off of the bat of her. Hit at the base of the wall. Salvatore did a good job getting in quickly, but there was no stopping that. So the first run of the game will come in form of an RBI double. And that'll bring up the number 9 hitter, shortstop Tyler Cerami. And that hits him. Hits him right in the shoulder. So he will take a slow walk to first, and that will switch the lineup around and bring up the left-handed batting DH, Jimmy Sadler. And now there's going to be a timeout. Looks like Coach Noro will go out to talk to his charge. Again, California started this inning with a strikeout. Then a walk, a strikeout, and then an RBI double. Ball that was hit on the screws. Didn't have enough height to get out, but that hit at the base of the wall. So it looks like Coach Nora was just going to calm the charges down a little bit. Nobody stirring in the Vulcan bullpen, so this is just a reset situation. Again, Sadler will come up this third at-bat of the game for the leadoff hitter for the Rock. The designated hitter for Slippery Rock. With 2 outs, you think another base hit will bring him home. First pitch from Holmes. Slap foul. Runs the count to 0-1. Looks like a nice fastball on the outside part of the plate. So Butler, the second left-hander in this lineup. The other is standing on second after an RBI double. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit into right center. Coming over is Jones on a full run. Makes the catch. But the Rock get the first run of the ball game and will lead 1-0 while we have a chance. Let's look at the NCAA Atlantic Region rankings. The first one of the year in an alphabetical order to make things a little more difficult for those of us trying to explain these to everybody at home. They list the first one alphabetically. So that's why California is on top. But you see California, Concord, East Stroudsburg, Frostburg, Millersville, Seton Hill, Shippensburg, and Westchester all in the running for one of those coveted NCAA regional spots. And that record is just the in-region record. So a couple of the games that California would have played on spring break against teams out of the region would not be reflected in that regional record. But you see California 1, East Stroudsburg 2, Millersville 3, Seton Hill 4, Shippensburg 5, and West. So 6 PSAC teams represented in the region. So that's why the next 2 weeks are very, very important for everybody. And Slippery Rock not in the regional rankings, but definitely a team that is probably lurking right outside. And should they go 3-1 or even 2-2 against this Vulcan squad, could find themselves in the rankings of next week. So as we move into the bottom of the fourth inning, that'll bring up the Vulcan left fielder Ryan Callahan, trying to get the Vulcans offense moving. Only 3 hits in this game thus far after being 2 hit. And right as I say it, single to center field for Ryan Callahan. Didn't even let me finish my thought about being 2 hit yesterday. A first pitch swinging single And that'll bring up Santino Mara. And again, Mara chasing trying to swim in some heady waters here with 214 career hits coming into this game, trying to be the all-time leader for the Vulcans. First pitch taken for a strike. Long wait. Here's Gillott's pitch. Misses low and outside for a ball. Evens the count at 1 apiece. And typically when you hear the strains of that Samori, that means bad news is afoot for the visiting pitcher. Here's the 1-1. Swung on, fouled, out of play. Runs the count at 1-2. Samara stepping back in. Runner on first. Nobody out here. Bottom of the fourth. Gillott's 1-2. Fouls. The hit and run was on. And we reset. As Callahan was off with the pitch. Mara doing a great job just fouling off that inside fastball to stay alive. And Callahan coming into this game 5 of 5 on stolen base attempts, so doesn't get the opportunity to go a lot, but he has been successful. Here's the 1-2. That's going to be a foul ball out of play towards the parking lot. And Mara making Gillott work. So regardless of the outcome of this at-bat, Gillott's throwing more pitches, and that's also allowing Nathan Meeks to see more of what Gillott is bringing to the dish. Throw over to Callahan. Scampers him back, 1-2. Setting up outside to Mara. Swung on and hit to right field, and that just gets down out of play. Thought Mara might have had an extra base hit down the line there, and that could have maybe scored Callahan where that ball went, but just allowed redo. Is we're at 2 strikes, so can't even say that's a loud strike. It's just allowed nothing right there. So Gillott and Mara reset. Here's the 1-2 pitch, but they go over to Callahan to chase him back to first. Again, 5 steal attempts, 5 successful steal attempts for the Vulcan left fielder. 1-2 to Mara. Swung and a miss. Gets past him. Callahan was going, but Mara will reach. So a strikeout, a drop strikeout. Mara will reach first, and Callahan will go to second. But he wasn't at second, so Mara will go back. So that will be an out. So Mara will be sat down. And that will bring up Nathan Meeks. First pitch to Meeks, fouled out of play for a strike. So Mara retired on a strikeout. Callahan on the pass ball advanced to second base. Now they throw back to second. Really worried about Callahan at second. Again, runs at a premium. Going to worry about every base runner. Oh, 1 now. High inside for a ball. Almost looked like Meeks was looking for that ball to break back in, and he was ready to pounce on it, but it never came back. Meeks coming into this season, or so far in the season, 4 home runs. So has the power to go yard here. Pitch far, low, and away for a ball. Runs the count 2-2-1. Again, we're in the midway point of game number 1 of 2 here from EQT Park. Big PSAC West doubleheader. Glad you can join us. Breaking ball misses high, so hitters count 3-1. And Caleb Collins will be in the on-deck circle, looking to atone for his base running gaffe in the second inning. Hit a single, try to stretch it to a double, and was thrown out to end the inning. Slapped over the shortstop head, gets down, and they're going to wave Callahan around. The throw will be cut off, and we are tied here on an RBI single by Nathan Meeks. Makes it 1-1. Great bit of hitting and a great bit of running. There's Callahan had to hold up just for a second to see if the shortstop Cerami would come down with that. Did not want to get doubled off, but we are tied at 1 here in game number 1. And that will bring up Caleb Collins. 1 for 1. First pitch to Collins, taken for a strike. So California 1 run on 5 hits, no errors. Slippery Rock 1 run, 3 hits, no errors. And we'll see if Meeks will have the green light to go. 10 for 13 on stolen base attempts. He does go. Throw down to second, and he will be safe. So another runner in scoring position for the Vulcans. So now another runner in scoring position. See if Collins, who's hitting .317 coming into this game, to get himself an RBI. Off-speed pitch, swing and a miss, strike 2. So Collins steps back in, behind the count 1-2. Pitch misses outside, good take. Tempting Collins to swing at something in the left-handed batter's box. Big run out there at second base. The pitch swung on, hit into left center field, and ranging over, making the catch. And now an advance on the fly ball. So Collins flying out to the left fielder, but will advance the runner. But that's 2 outs. But still, anything in the dirt, you got to think that the runner will be barreling down on home plate. And that'll bring up Rizzo. Ball was well hit, but in this damp air today, just not a lot of lift. Even in BP, not a lot of balls were getting out over the fence unless they were absolutely on the screws. First pitch high and away for a ball. So runner on third. 2 outs, 1 run home already in the bottom of the 4th for the Vulcans. Outside ball 2. So it looks like Gelat's pitching the left-handed batter Rizzo very gingerly. Only 2 lefties in the Vulcan lineup as well, in Rizzo and Icon Jones. Peyton Ford on deck should the inning extend. Ball 3 outside. So Rizzo, the Vulcan backstop. See if he has the green light here on a 3-0 count. Go ahead run at third. Ball 4. So 4 straight balls to the Vulcan backstop, and that'll bring up the shortstop, Peyton Ford. And there's going to be a meeting of the minds on the mound. So you have Ford, Icon Jones, and then the lineup flips over to Salvatore. So Coach Conti brings everybody together. Runners, coaches, on-deck batters, and the like. And can't overstate how big these games are conference-wise and regionally-wise. One more week of regular season play. The Vulcans, 4 games Thursday, or 2 games Thursday, 2 games Friday. Thursday will be in Johnstown. Friday will be here at EQT Park versus the Mountain Cats. CTV plans on being there for Friday's afternoon contests. However, weather looks iffy all week, so as always, go to KyleVulcans.com for all the up-to-date information about what schedule changes may or may not happen here in the last week of the regular season. And then the fly in the ointment is if California has to make up a 7-inning game at Lock Haven if it matters for seeding purposes. So runners on first and third. First pitch to Ford will be a strike. The Rock scoring 1 on a ringing double. And the Vulcans scoring 1 on a single to left center field. Ford, runner goes. Slippery Rock is not going to be tricked into the old rundown play. So runner will steal. So now you have 2 runners in scoring position. You have Rizzo at second. And Nathan Meeks at first. So 1-1 to Peyton Ford. Base hit would bring in 2. Ball low and in the dirt. Icon Jones awaits on deck. So Ford coming into this game batting .252. Would like to get back on track here. Here's the pitch. Low. Ball 3. So looking down, there's a pitcher warming up for the Rock. Number 44, Joey Vanzen. 3-1 now to Ford. Swung on right back to the pitcher. And that will end the inning. But not before the Vulcans even up the tally. So after 4 full here at EQT Park, the Vulcans and the Rock are tied at 1 apiece. We'll be back after these messages. You're watching CTV Sports 1, the PSAC Digital Network, the CTV family of networks, and also listening on 91.9 FM, Power 92.
The Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference celebrates the athletic and academic excellence of its student-athletes. Last year, over 4,000 achieved at least a 3.25 GPA to earn recognition as a PSAC Scholar Athlete. Athletically, over 70 PSAC teams qualified for the NCAA Championships. Champions on the field, champions in the classroom, making the PSAC proud.
And welcome back to EQT Park as we move into the top of the 5th inning. And as you heard me mention before the break, games also today on 91.9 FM WCA. I'd like to thank our engineer, Ian Poe. He's been engineering our games, football, basketball, and baseball all year. I believe he is unfortunately for us, fortunately for him, I believe he's graduating this spring. And we wish him well in everything he does in life because I know he will be an asset to wherever he ends up because he definitely makes our life easier by being able to come in and engineer the games. And we move forward in this game as we move to the top of the 5th inning. That'll bring up number 12, Brandon Butler. So you have the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Rock here in the top of the 5th. So you have Vanzen warming up for the Rock. First pitch misses inside for a ball. Have a couple players for the Vulcans light tossing in the bullpen. Not sure who's down there. Pitch for a strike. So we're kind of moving into that bullpen area. So here's the 1-1. Nice off-speed pitch for a strike. Butler was looking fastball, and that off-speed just had him all sorts of off. 1-2, high, ball 2, 2-2. So again, goes Butler, Kitco, and Powell. Top middle part of the lineup. Ground ball to third, staying down on it, throw over to first. And Mara unable to scoop it up, and that'll be an error. And runner on first. So Meeks just a little too low on the throw, and the leadoff batter is on. And that'll bring up Michael Kitco. So Mara playing over there in place of Peyton Conte, unable to scoop that as that throw is just a little low. And that'll be a ball. So see if the Vulcans can render that base runner moot by getting out of this jam. A ground ball to the middle infielder would be a great thing to do here. Second pitch, taken for the first strike. Infield at double play depth. Outfield pretty much straight ahead. Jones may be a shade into left center. And now he moves into right center for a can of corn. First out of the inning, and that'll bring up the dangerous cleanup hitter, first baseman Stone Powell. And Holmes has been pitching very carefully to Powell. Powell's a guy that could break this tie in an instant. Breaking ball pitch, nice pitch, catches the outside part of the plate for a strike. Looks like it's Josh Bryson warming up for the Vulcans. So that second pitch is taken for a ball. One pitch. Popped foul. As several children go running over the bleachers to find it. Good luck to them. So that runs the count to 1-2. Big pitch right now, because if you get that second out, then that minimizes possibly the impact of that runner on first. Swung on, foul ball once again. Over to the parking lot. On deck is Treston Nemeth, the catcher, the backstop for this Rock team. Here's the pitch, fouled once again. And we could probably throw a towel over the area where those balls have been hitting. There's a lot of foul balls in the same area. 1-2, one out. Holmes trying to get past the cleanup hitter. Slapped into right field for a base hit. Salvatore coming up will hold the runner at second. Fourth hit of the game for the Rock. And that will bring up Treston Nemeth, the catcher. So Holmes was one pitch away from minimizing this. Now a slight jam here with two runners on, one out. But again, a double play could be what the doctor orders. Pitch in the dirt for a ball. Good job of Rizzo blocking that and then keeping the double play in effect by not allowing any advance. So lots of activity in both bullpens. Here's the 1-0. Swung on, hit to center field. Icon Jones drifting back and making the catch. And we'll throw ahead to third. So no advance, two outs. And that will bring up number 8, the second baseman, Clay Wiesen. And see if Holmes can get out of this top of the fifth unscathed after giving up a leadoff base runner. And now it looks like Coach Noro is going to go back out and talk to his charge. Don't think there will be a change, as usually that would be Coach Conte coming out. But you do have a right-hander in the pen again. That's number 15, Josh Bryson, the sophomore. we're going to take a look at the bullpen for the Vulcans right now. And as you can see, that is going to be Josh Bryson. So you would think if Holmes can get out of here, this might be his, one way or the other, this could be his last batter of the game, as it looks like Bryson is signaling that he is ready and warm. Coach Nora walking back to the dugout to report to Coach Conti what's going on. Again, with 2 outs, you have a force at any base except home. So we'll see how Holmes will deal with Wiesen. Again, big part of the game is every run is so precious. 1-1 game, one run game in game 1 yesterday, 2-0 game in game 2. First pitch taken for a ball. The sun kind of peeks its way out for the first time this afternoon, instantly raising the feel-like temperature a couple degrees. Pitch low and away. Great job again by Rizzo, backhanding it, keeping it in front of him. Do not want to see an advance here if you're a Vulcan fan. Have 1 runner in scoring position. You don't want to make it 2. Holmes comes set, 2-0 pitch. Delivers, misses low and outside. On deck for the Rock will be the center fielder, Cam Penko Morris. See if Wiesen has the green light. 3-0. Pure take, catches it for a strike. So everybody resets. Looks like another pitcher's warming up for the Vulcans, left-hander. Slap towards the hole. Salvatore is going to come up, gunning. Throw to the plate. There's going to be a play. The ball was bobbled. The throw beat him. Rizzo unable to make the catch. And that will be a go-ahead single for the Rock. Great throw by Salvatore in right. And that, I believe, will be it for Holmes as Coach Conti will come out of the dugout. So that error does come around to cost the Vulcans. It's now 2-1 here in the bottom or the top of the first inning. And that'll end the day for Holmes, going 4 2/3. And is responsible for both runners on. So I believe 4 2/3, 1 run or 2 runs, 1 of them earned. And that'll bring in number 15, Josh Bryson, sophomore for the Vulcans, big right-hander. Again, a great throw from right field from Salvatore, just Rizzo unable to corral it. Beat him in time, but I think it was the transition from catching it to finding where the tag is. Just allowed that ball to get to the ground. Now it looks like the Rock has another right-hander up in the form of number 27. He was unlisted on one roster. Let's see if he's on the other. Looks like, Michael Kitko, pitcher outfielder. He's been in the game. So we'll see what shenanigans are afoot. Hopefully very soon. Vulcans only allowing 1 run here in the 5th. Again, the leadoff runner reached by way of an error, then a couple more base runners, and then got to 2 outs, but unable to get that 3rd out. So Bryson, once again, sophomore pitcher, big right-hander, has 1 more pitch. will not take it. Gives a thumbs up to the man in blue. And that will bring up number 5, Cam Penko Morris, the center fielder. Looks like for the Vulcans, left-hander Ryan Sluck will be warming up in the pen for the Vulcans. First pitch, low and away, ball 1. Bryson stepping back on the rubber. On deck is her. Second pitch misses outside, ball 2. So not what you want to see if you're a Vulcan fan, coming out of the pen, throwing 2 straight balls. Runners on first and second. 2 outs. Low and away, ball 3. So hitters count now to Penko Morris. And Bryson pitching himself into a corner right out of the pen. The 3-0. Ball 4. So out of the pen, 4 straight balls, and the bases are loaded now. That'll bring up Robert Herr. And now Coach Conti goes right back. And Sluck was warming up for the Vulcans. And that'll be it. So Bryson came in to face one batter, walked him, and then that'll bring in the left-hander, sophomore pitcher Ryan Sluck. But bases loaded, so Holmes responsible for the runners on second and third, and Bryson responsible for the runner on first. We've seen Sluck be very effective in his outings so far this season. And now that clears out the bullpen for the Vulcans. And looks like down in the rock pen, 44, Joey Vanzen will be ramping up his warm-up. So if he's not going to be in the game right away, he will be ready to go should Gillott go out there and run into any problems. But a tough spot here for Sluck out of the pen. Bases loaded. And Robert Herr already with an RBI, a double for the Rock in the 4th inning. So it'll go Herr, Cerami, and Sadler should things go off the rails here for the Vulcans. Again, a busy weekend of Vulcan athletics as women's golf team participating in the PSACs, I believe in Kutztown. Softball should be playing today. I know that game was delayed back. Those doubleheaders were delayed from 1 to 2. A lot of rain in the area overnight. Lily Field, a natural grass field. We're supposed to play yesterday at Slippery Rock. That game was rained out. Across the parking lot, the Vulcan baseball team and the Rock battled to a split. So we move to a critical moment of this game as the left fielder Herr will come in, bases loaded, facing the left-handed Sluck. Wide open stance for Herr. Nowhere to put this guy. Here's the first pitch. Bounced. Runner's going to come home, throw to the plate, not in time. So a run comes home. Make it 3-1 Rock. Sluck through the old 45-footer and goes over Rizzo's head. And now 2 runners move up in scoring position. So Herr stepping back in. So the complexion of this game has turned 180 degrees in about the last 10 minutes. Sluck's 1-0. Misses outside for a ball. On deck is Tyler Cerami. 2-0 from Sluck. Catches the corner, so after 6 straight balls out of the pen, the Vulcans get a strike. Runs the count to 2-1. Here's the pitch, swung on, fouled out of play into the Vulcan bullpen. Runs the count to 2-2, so that third run will, I believe, be attributed to Nathan Holmes. He should still be responsible for the runner on first, and Bryson will be responsible for the runner on second, but Sluck can make that moot with this pitch. Another bouncing pitch in the dirt. Rizzo that time able to keep it in front of him, no advance, and the count goes to full. So Rizzo has had a ton of activity here in the top of the 5th behind the dish for the Vulcans. Sluck, full count. Payoff pitch. Fly ball into center field. This could be trouble coming on. Jones with a running catch. And the Vulcans get out of it, but not before giving up 2 runs here in the top of the 5th. While we have some time, I'd like to alert everybody of a situation coming up. There's a scheduled power outage on campus due to the construction of the new science buildings. So pretty much all of campus will be without power from May 5th to 9th, which will affect your friendly neighborhood media outlets of CUTV and WCAL. Will be off air and unavailable. We will return as soon as the outage is finished. Now, there is a chance if the outages are only partially during the day, CUTV may come back on, as that system will pop back on without any human interference, but radio will need us to be alerted to when the power is back on. So, again, we apologize, and we'll try and keep everybody up to date if there's any updates, but we will be anticipating to be off that entire week, probably into Monday, as I will also be out of town that weekend with a group of friends for our fantasy football celebrations. But we have a few weeks, 2 weeks before we get that, about 10 days actually, because next week is the end of the semester. It's amazing how fast the spring semester goes. It just seems like we were in the frigid Convocation Center for a Martin Luther King Day women's only game against Penn State Beaver, in which it was like 32 degrees, and then the end of the season, and then moving right into baseball and softball. Baseball season started home on the road down in West Virginia's Wild Things Park. EQT Park was having the turf renovated and replaced. Several softball games at Lilly Field and several games here, so it's been a pleasure to bring everybody Vulcan Athletics this spring. So new pitcher in the game for the Rock as Icon Jones greets him with a base hit. And Icon Jones, first pitch swinging, first pitch hitting, and he will greet Joey Vanzen. And there's going to be a pinch hitter now, number 33, Colin Patterson, coming in. So Patterson will come in place of Salvatore. So left-handed power bat with Icon Jones at first. And Jones coming into this game 13 of 15 in stolen base attempts. So anticipate maybe have some activity for him on the base pass. But Patterson has some thunder in that bat. So Coach Conti trying to tie this game up with one mighty swing. First pitch to Patterson. Runner goes. Throw down a second, and it'll be a stolen base for Icon Jones. Pitch misses, so now the Vulcans get a runner in scoring position. So Patterson now has a chance to influence this game pretty quickly with a base hit. Pitch misses, low and away, ball 2. No activity in the Rock bullpen. It looks like Sluck is back throwing in the Vulcan bullpen, trying to stay loose on this cold day. 2-0 misses outside, 3-0 now. So Patterson with Conti on deck. 3-0 hitters count. Take all the way for a strike, evens or runs the count 2-3-1. So dangerous part of the lineup for the Vulcans with Conti, Callahan, and Mara coming up after this. Line out to first, third to second. So an L3, first out of the inning is Patterson. Absolutely was on top of that, but allowed out to Stone Powell, and that'll bring up Peyton Conti, number 20. Again, Conti went yard yesterday at the Rock. And no doubt if that ball gets past Stone Powell, that's a run for the Vulcans and probably a double for Patterson. But as it is, just a loud out number one. First pitch swung on down the right field line. Powell going back. Spin keeps it in. And that'll be the second out. Runner will advance to third on the out. And so 2 outs now. And that will bring up number 7, Ryan Callahan. So Callahan digging back in, trying to keep this inning alive, and trying to move the Vulcans 1 run closer as we move into the 6th inning. First pitch inside for a strike. So Vanzen in his first inning of relief work, facing a runner on third. And here's the pitch, swung on. Callahan to right center, going back is the second baseman. Coming on is the right fielder and making the catch. So the Vulcans get a hit, but nothing comes through to score. So after 5 full from EQT Park, the Rock of Slippery Rock leads the California Vulcans 3-1. You're watching Vulcan Baseball right here on CUTV Sports 1, the PSAC Digital Network, the CUTV family of networks on cable, and also 91.9 FM, WCAO.
Sports fans, we cheer on our favorite teams at fields, gyms, arenas, and stadiums. But have you ever wondered what it's like to be a referee? Verbal abuse from fans, parents, and coaches is the #1 reason why many referees are walking away. And they're not being replaced quickly enough by new ones. So put yourself in the official shoes, act with respect, and be officially human.
And welcome back to EQT Park, as it's a day for the Dogs here on this cold, not really cold, on this cool and crisp spring afternoon in western Pennsylvania. It was 80 degrees the other day and about 62 maybe around 60. But a great day to bring the old pupper out to the ball game and hopefully see a Vulcan comeback win. Was going back out on the bump for the Vulcans is the southpaw Ryan Sluck. Came in, gave up a wild pitch, and a run came home on that, but then got out of the jam. Leading off this inning for the Rock will be the shortstop, Tyler Cerami. First pitch for a strike. So it goes Cerami and then the top of the order with Sadler and Butler. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Had some down and in action to the right-handed batter of the Rock. So Sluck in position to face a southpaw on the next batter. First pitch misses inside for a ball. Nobody in the Rock bullpen. Looks like the Vulcans might have a few arms starting to loosen up. 1-2 evens the count at 2-2. Misses high. Slucks 2-2. Inside too far. And count goes to full 3-2. So Cerami trying to be a tough first batter here against Sluck, who is ahead 0-2. Foul tip, and that gets Rizzo right off the shoulder. The umpire will give him a few seconds to get his faculties together. Got to be tough if you're a catcher, and Rizzo definitely is. We'll get back up, and one of my favorite things is the umpire dusting off the plate on the turf field to give the catcher even more time to catch his wind. But Sluck now facing another 3-2 pitch. Again, he was up 0-2 to this batter. Payoff pitch. Again, a foul tip right off of Rizzo's head. And he'll shake his head again, and we'll redo this. So no luck for Kyle Rizzo back there. Foul tip off the shoulder, foul tip off the head. At least it was a glancing blow on the head off the helmet. And the count goes to, once again, 3-2, or stays at 3-2. First batter of the inning. And a strike three. Nice pitch by Sluck, and that'll be the first out of the inning. So Cerami was a tough at bat there, but Sluck able to wear him down and get the first out. And that'll bring up the top of the order. And that is the form of Jimmy Sadler. Lefty on lefty now. First pitch for a strike. So Sluck, after that strikeout, getting a little bit of confidence back. Here's the 0-1. Misses outside for a ball. 1-1. One pitch, check swing, and that'll be a strike. Not even an emphatic agreement from the field umpire, just a shake of the head, confirming what we all believe. 1-2, high and away. Runs the count to 2-2. Top of the order here for the Rock in the top of the sixth. Swing and a miss, strike three. So two straight strikeouts for Sluck to lead off the sixth inning, and that'll bring up the number 2 hitter, third baseman Brandon Butler. So it would be great if you're a Vulcan fan to have Sluck go 1, 2, 3 and get those bats back up. First pitch missing for a ball. And no one warming up in the pen for the Rock, so expect to see Vanzin back out there on the bump in the bottom of the sixth. Second pitch is high. Michael Kitko is on deck should the inning extend. Slucks 2-0. Swing and a miss. Strike one. Brought a little more velocity to the party that time, and Butler was unable to keep up. 2-1. Low and away, ball 3. Rizzo trying to get the frame, and umpire was not buying it. So hitters count with the 3-1. Fouled away. And that runs the count to full, so payoff pitch coming up for Sluck and the Vulcans. Payoff pitch fouled away. And they'll redo it again. Again, Kitco on deck for the Rock. But Sluck would like to get out of this inning. Payoff pitch. He will not. Too far inside. And that will be a walk. And we will see Michael Kitco come up to the plate and bat for Slippery Rock. Again, no one in the pen. Looking extremely ready for the Vulcans. You do have a left-hander warming up. Looks like it's Ben Barr warming up, but I think he's still in the loosening up phase of the warm-up. Check swing over to Mara. Mara underhand and gets the out. Good 1-3 put out for the Vulcans. And that will end the inning. So we'll put a star on that as Mara doing a good job getting to that, and even better job of Sluck fielding his position. So while we have a second, take a second and scan that QR code and become a subscriber of CUTV's YouTube page, where you will be notified of up-to-date videos that get uploaded. All the live games on CUTV. You'll get a notification when those games go live. And again, this time of year with baseball and softball, the schedule could change at a drop of a hat, depending on the weather. So games could be moved up or pushed back. We saw that in the last 2 weeks with softball. Last week was pushed up a few hours. This week pushed back a few hours. Baseball, as long as there's no lightning or rain during the warm-up, will usually start on time. But again, the only way to be sure is to just go to CTV Sports 1 and become a member. Or you can do that. How about and instead of or? You can always follow along Kyle Vulcans on all your social platforms for up-to-date information on game links, live stats, game stories, photo galleries, and the like for Matt Kiefer and his staff. Trying to keep everybody informed. Unless you're living under a rock, you can stay up to date with Cal Vulcans. Don't even need an email from Matt Kiefer. You can just go to the website and be aware of what's going on. It's amazing with technology. And technology is amazing when it works. And trying to work right now will be the Vulcan lineup is trying to get through and cut into this 2-run deficit. So the second inning of work for Vanzin. And that'll bring up Santino Mara. And if you want somebody to start a rally, Mara's probably about the best guy you could think about. So you have Mara, Meeks, and Collins. Here's the first pitch. Check swing. It's going to be a tough play. 3-1. And so exact same play that Mara was involved in a few moments ago comes to fruition against him, and that'll be the first out of the inning. And that will bring up Nathan Meeks. So it looked like Mara wanted to stop his swing there, unable to, and the ball just goes right to the first baseman for a 3-1 putout. Vulcan's down to 5 outs in this game. First pitch taken for a strike. So the Rock, 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors. The Vulcans, 1 run, 6 hits, 1 error. Here's the 0-1. Low and in the dirt for a ball. So Meeks and then Collins will be the third hitter of the inning. Vanzin's 1-1. And that hits Meeks. So another hit batsman in this game. And Meeks will chug down to first, and that will bring up Caleb Collins. So pitch catches for a strike. So the 0-1 pitch now. Catches the inside. Good fastball by Vans and runs the count to 0-2. Swing and a miss. And that will be the out. Trying to advance. And a strike him out, throw him out. As disaster strikes for the Vulcans with the drop third strike. And that will end the 6th inning. So we'll be back after this break. You're watching Vulcans baseball right here on CTV Sports 1, the PSAC Digital Network, the CTV family of cable networks, and listening to it on 91.9 FM, Power 92.
Sports fans, we cheer on our favorite teams at fields, gyms, arenas, and stadiums. But have you ever wondered what it's like to be a referee? Verbal abuse from fans, parents, and coaches is the #1 reason why many referees are walking away. And they're not being replaced quickly enough by new ones. So put yourself in the official shoes, act with respect, and be officially human.
And we're back here for the top of the 7th inning. This key PSAC doubleheader between the California Vulcans and the Rock of Slippery Rock. Going out to the mound for another inning of work will be the left-handed pitcher Ryan Sluck for the Vulcans. As California tries to set the Rock bats down here in the top of the 7th and then come back up with a chance to walk it off in the bottom half of the inning. So, first batter will be Stone Powell, then Treston Nemeth, and then Clay Wiesen. 1, 2, 3 here for the Rock. Sluck's pitch fouled out of play. Excuse me, Stone Powell will be the leadoff hitter. I might have said that out of order, but it is Powell, Nemeth, and Wiesen. There's the 0-1. He evens it at 1 apiece. So Sluck working from the stretch. Outside ball 2. And looks like warming up in the pen for the Rock once again is Michael Kitko. So we'll see what happens there. Powell takes a pitch inside, runs a count to 3-1. So Sluck falling behind first batter of the top of the 7th. Misses ball 4, so first batter will reach. Looks like Burr is still warming up in the pen for the Vulcans. That'll bring up 35, the catcher, Treston Nemeth. So we'll see what transpires. Big insurance run out there. Here's going to be a bunt attempt. Misses high for a ball. So the Rock looked like they were showing show a little bit of small ball there. Bunt popped up and taken by Mara. So good play there by Mara to get to the bunt in foul territory and an out. So the first out of the inning is recorded. That'll bring up number 8, Clay Wiesen. So Sluck dealing foul off of Wiesen's leg for a ball, or excuse me, first strike. I think that movie's so good. I love how it has 2 views. I wish it had but I wish I wasn't. So runner on first, 1 out. So you have Wiesen and then Panko Morris on deck.
Yeah, but if
Nice off-speed pitch, catches the outside part of the plate for strike 2. Here's the 1-1. Misses high for a ball. 2-1. I had the wrong button hit on the count right there. 2-1 pitch. High and away, or high and inside, ball 3. So hitter's count now 3-1. Penko Morris, then Robert Herr. So you think Sluck will at least stay in the face of the lefty. Here's the 3-1, fouled right over the back of Rizzo. One of the few recent foul balls that hasn't gone off of his body. So payoff pitch, big pitcher out there for Sluck. Don't want to put another run in scoring position. Here's the payoff pitch. Check swing, doesn't go, and that will be, should have been a walk. Not sure what happened there. Full count. Pop up. And Marr coming back in, a win in the spin. Had him going in 2 different directions, but that'll be the second out of the inning. And that will bring up number 5, Cam Penko Morris. So big play, but give Santino Marr credit on that. That ball looked like it was going to be firmly foul, and then that spin brought it in, and a little bit of wind pushed it more to his natural position at second base. Swing and a miss, strike 1. So Sluck trying to get out of this jam and get the bats coming back up. Next pitch misses high and inside for a ball. It's a 1-1 count. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Going up the ladder against Penko Morris. And the Vulcans once again 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning. Sluck misses outside, 2-2. So 2-2, 2 outs. Fouled into the Vulcan bullpen. We'll reset. Runner on first. Sluck coming set. 2-2 pitch. Fouled again. Out of play. And we'll reset. Again, a big at-bat here. California looking to get out of the inning. Slippery Rock trying to scratch again. 1 extra insurance run going into the bottom part of the 7th. 2-2. In the dirt, Rizzo keeps it in front of him, runs the count to full. Should the inning extend, that'll bring up the left-hander, Robert Herr. The Vulcans have the lefty, Ben Burr, the freshman, working in the pen right now. Payoff pitch. Fouled again. Out of play. And we'll do it all over again. So Penko Morris being a tough out here. Out number 21 looking to be recorded for the Vulcans. Swung on, and that's going to be a base hit into left field. Stayed on that inside part of the plate. And that'll bring up the left-handed batter, Herr. So 2 runners on. 6th base hit of the game for the Rock. So runners on first and second. Lefty on lefty. Herr, the 8th batter in the lineup. And then following him will be Cerami if the inning extends, and then the top of the order. Pitch in the dirt, gets away. Runners will advance. Throw to second, not in time. Almost got by Collins and Ford, but that is a ball, and that's a big 180 feet for the two runners. Now you have two runners in scoring position for the Rock. A base hit with 2 outs would probably bring in 2 runs. Here's the 1-0. In the dirt, ball 2. Sluck has struggled last 2 batters with some deep counts, so we'll see how much he has left in the tank. Swing and a miss, strike 1. So 2-1 is the count. Swung on. That's going to be into left center field. Going over is Callahan making a dive. Can't get there. 2 runs are going to score. And Hearn's going to go to third with a 2-out, 2 RBI triple. Great effort by Callahan, but unable to get to it. And that will bring up the shortstop, Cerami. But before we get to there, that's going to be a pitching change, and that's going to be it for Sluck. Give Callahan credit. He made that play a lot closer than I think it was really off the bat. So that will end the day for Ryan Sluck. Still responsible for the runner at third base. So the freshman Ben Barr will come in, try and get the last out. So you have Cerami, and then Jimmy Sadler. So we'll see if maybe you get Cerami pitched around and then bring up the left-hander leadoff batter in Jimmy Sadler. So again, this is the third of 4 games this weekend between the two squads. Yesterday, California had a 6-1 lead in the 7th, gave up a few runs, ended up holding on for the win. And then game 2, the Rock 4 hit the Vulcans en route to a 2-0 shutout victory. Looks like the Rock might be on their way to winning game number 3 with game number 4 this afternoon. So Barr, the freshman, left-handed pitcher. We have seen him a few times this season. But a pretty big situation right now. You don't want to let that 6th run in. Want to at least keep a chance for a grand slam to tie it. Make it. It's going to be difficult, but at least a grand slam's a little easier than a. Can't score 5 runs on one play in baseball. But that'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Tyler Cerami, the shortstop. Again, we'll see if he gets worked around a little bit to bring up a lefty-on-lefty matchup. So first pitch misses low in the dirt for a ball. So the 1-0 pitch misses low and inside, ball 2. So definitely working the outside or the inside part, the outer edges of the strike zone is Barr. The pitch catches the inside part of the plate for a strike. So first pitch that is recorded for a strike for the freshman southpaw. Here's the 2-1. Swung on, hit towards right, coming on, and that will get down. RBI single, make it 6-1 for the Rock. And that'll flip the lineup over and bring up Jimmy Sadler. But ball just got down in front of Connor Evans in right field. Little bloop single. And that runs it to a 5-1 Rock lead here in game number 1. Breaking ball on the corner of the plate for a strike. Bars 0-1, runner on first, low in the dirt. Evens the count at 1 apiece. Here's Barr's pitch. Oh, right on the corner. Nice pitch. Runs the count 2-1-2. And now Barr within one pitch of getting out of this jam. Here's the 1-2. Swung on. Ground ball to second. On to first, and that will end the inning. But that ends the top of the 7th, but not before the Rock get 3 runs. And let's take a look once again at those PSAC West standings as we go into the bottom of the 7th. You see coming into this game, California at the top spot, 16-6. Seton Hill right there also with 14-6. Slippery Rock 2 games behind. So important 2 games for the Rock as they can pull even with California in the loss column and move ahead again with some games being made up. And not 100% sure if the standings from the PSAC, they sometimes have a lot of problems with standings being correct this time of year with games being added and subtracted. So always slightly a guessing game. We see California, Seton Hill, Slippery Rock right there, and then IEP a game behind, and then you have Gannon, Clarion, and then Lock Haven and Pitt Johnstown. California will, after a game today in the PSAC West, will have 4 games against the Mountain Cats Thursday and Friday, and then potentially a 1-7-inning game back up at Lock Haven if that game is needed for standings seeding purposes. As that second game of that doubleheader was rained out earlier this year in Lock Haven. So back on the mound is Joey Vanzin. And the Vulcans will send up Rizzo, Ford, and Jones to try and cut into this 6-1 lead, excuse me. So I had to change the scoreboard there. It's trying to do directing, announcing, engineering, graphics, and audio. So apologize to that for getting behind there. First pitch swinging, ground ball to second. Over to first for the first out. So 2 outs left for the Vulcans. That'll bring up Peyton Ford, the shortstop. So it'll be Ford and then Jones. So Vanzin, since coming in, has done a good job for the Rock. It's not been in any damage or danger. Foul ball back to the netting for a strike. Again, stay with us after the conclusion of this game. It's 25 minutes approximately after the game will be game number 2 of the day, 4 of the series. Once again live everywhere you're watching this game. Breaking ball catches the corner of the plate for a strike. And Ford goes behind 0-2. Fly ball to center. Panko Morris comes up and makes the grab for the second out. So the Vulcans down 5 runs and down to their last out. Icon Jones will try and extend the game here. And should he extend it, we'll flip the lineup over. So Jones stepping in. First pitch misses on an outside for a ball. So here's 1-0. Ford flinches but does not swing. Runs the count to 2-0. So 2-0 to Peyton Ford. Excuse me, Icon Jones. Catches the outside part of the plate for a strike. If I look down at my score sheet, it's all Peyton's name. Too nice of a choice if you look at the lineup to get a Peyton. As the 2-1 becomes a 2-2 with a off-speed pitch, has Icon Jones swinging. So it could be the last out pitch for the Vulcans. 2-2-2. That's into right field, coming on and making the catch. So that will end it. So the Rock will get the first game of this doubleheader by the score of 6-1. So 6 runs on 8 hits, no errors for the Rock. 1 run, 6 hits, 1 error for the Vulcans. So that'll put a bow on game number 1. We'll be back in about 25 minutes. You're watching Vulcan Baseball right here on CTV Sports 1, the PSAC Digital Network, the CUTV family of cable networks, and 91.9 FM, Power 92.